Now, it is time to look attentively at the scheme of Figure 1, for in it we have the whole construction of the tarot presented in a way easy to memorize. Place the letters of the great tetragram in the first triangle, beside the numbers of the arcana. Yod, of course, will belong to arcanum number 1, He, the first passive He, to number 2, Va corresponds to number 3, and the point inside the triangle to the second active He. At the same time, we can clearly see how this active He becomes the Yod of the next triangle. Therefore, arcana 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, and 22 are all Yod. Arcana 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17, and 20 are all first He. Finally, arcana 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and 21, also called 0, represent the Va, or the neutral element. So now, when studying each of the arcana separately, we can always remember which idea is its basis, for each major arcanum has its own letter, one of the 22 of the Hebrew alphabet, as well as its own number, which we already know. But each triangle, which follows on from the first, also has the 4 great letters of the tetragram, and represents the same unique idea, but on a different plane. This will be shown in the following chapters, when we analyze the arcana one after another. And then you will see that the numbers from 1 to 22 also have a mystical meaning. 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, and 22 are active, while 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17, and 20 are passive. Finally, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and 21 are neutral. So it is with all the columns shown in Figure 1. Column number 1 is the active, male, column number 2 is the passive, female, and column number 3 is the neutral. The first triangle is that of the divine life, the highest, as it is according to the Kabbalah. The following triangles each time represent a lower world, until we come to the last, the 7th triangle, which symbolizes the physical realm. A more extended exposition belongs to the following chapters. Now, we will analyze the minor arcana. Actually, they are almost equivalent to the usual set of playing cards, with the difference that there is an additional figure in each suit. It is the knight. The traditional explanation of the minor arcana, unchanged by most competent authors, is as follows. We already know that, within it, the tarot includes 4 elements of occult wisdom: alchemy, astrology, the Kabbalah, and magic. I deliberately say includes and not is composed of, as erroneously stated by some people. For the tarot is much more than just these subdivisions of occultism. This we can recognize if we remember the definition of the tarot, which describes it as a philosophical machine. Further, the Tetragrammaton reveals itself in the tarot, 1, as the name of the Almighty composed of 4 letters, 2, as 4 kingdoms of spirits, 3, as 4 elements of alchemy, and 4, as 4 classes of men. Now, the first suit of the minor arcana correspond to 1, that is wands. The second suit corresponds to 2, that is swords. The third suit to 3, that is cups. And the fourth suit to 4, that is pentacles. These suits are the 4 sides of a square, which is a part of the tarot symbolism as is shown in Figure 3 of the text. Each side of this mystical square, which has a point in the middle, represents an element. Thus, wands symbolize fire, elves. Cups represent water, sprites. Swords are air, sylphs, while pentacles symbolize the densest element, or earth, gnomes which live in it. The figures have the following meaning. In each suit of the minor arcana, the king represents the first letter of the tetragrammaton, Yod, and fire. The queen, the second letter, He, or water. The knight, the third letter, Va, or air. And the knave is the fourth letter, second He, or earth. Consequently, 1 is fire, 2 water, 3 air, and 4 earth. This is the first square. As we know it, the first cycle, through its last element, or second He, is the seed of the next, the second square, or cycle, in which 5 is the second element, first He, 6 the third, Va, 7 the fourth, second He. Similarly, 7 is the first principle of the third, or the last square, 8 the second principle of the same, 9 the third, 10 the fourth. In the same way, the last side of the triangle is completed. This triangle may be presented in 2 ways, as is shown in the general symbol of the tarot. It can be placed inside the square, or it can contain the square. See Figure 3. The mystical point as seen in the square and triangle summarizes the whole figure to which it belongs. The traditional expression is that the whole of the square or triangle are equal to the point. In the course of the analysis in the following chapters, we will again return to this axiom. In the suits, the color black symbolizes active qualities, as it is the case with wands and swords, while red means passive qualities, to which belong cups and pentacles. We may say that here black stands for the Rajistic element, Eastern tradition, or willpower, energy, initiative, movement, and action, with red as the Tamastic element, indicating inertia, lack of movement, and unconsciousness. In divinatory practice with the tarot's cards, wands and cups are considered as good, indicating the best of fortune, friendship, and blessings, but swords and pentacles are just the opposite, that is, evil, hostility, and dangerous conditions and relationships. The meaning of the colors is given in slightly different words by different authors, but the gist must always be the same, as in this connection it is an unchangeable quality. Combinations of all of the 56 cards of the minor arcana therefore reflect the main principles of life, good and evil, active and passive, all being dependent upon a man's will or lying beyond it, as his unavoidable destiny, or karma, as Easterners would say. For a full understanding of every combination of the minor arcana, an extensive study of their meaning and symbols is essential, plus a certain necessary amount of intuition. This does not come without long years of hard work, providing one is really interested in this subdivision of Hermetism. Le Maître Etiella, his proper name was Aliette, the famous French fortune-teller and commentator on the tarot, in its divinatory conception, is said to have developed and possessed such a knowledge and ability of intuitional synthesis that it was sufficient for him to take only a quick look at the series of cards set out for his client in order to see the past, present, and future fate of the person. Papus, in his divinatory tarot, widely uses Etiella's conceptions and explanations of the significance of the minor arcana. Nevertheless, the main philosophical value and usefulness of the tarot lies in its 22 major arcana, or trumps. Actually, they are the basis of the present book. Their symbols are at the same time so exact and flexible, so inspiring and yet leaving one so much liberty in their interpretation, that many writers have found it profitable to use the tarot as a basis for their works, often without even mentioning its name. If the attentive student considers the number of parts, chapters, and the whole plan of another of the writer's books, Concentration, he will find the same principles employed, also in Samadhi.